Jai Gurudev, and thank you for joining us today. So, this has been an incredibly insightful conversation. As we look forward, it's clear that integrating ancient wisdom with modern lifestyles isn't just a matter of reverence but of practicality too. For those eager to begin this journey of spiritual and ecological harmony, what are some immediate steps that can take to start making a real difference? Yes, Jai Gurudev, the first step is to cultivate awareness in our daily lives. The more we become aware of the impact of our choices, the more we can consciously shift towards a lifestyle that honors nature. Start small, perhaps by reducing waste, embracing a plant based diet, or supporting local organic products. The goal isn't to be perfect, but to be mindful of the environment in our every action. Another powerful step is to spend time in nature, even if it is just for a few minutes each day. This helps rekindle the connection to the earth and reminds us that we are part of something much larger. I completely agree. Also, one thing that can be incredibly impactful is to engage with the local communities and educational organizations that support sustainable living. Learn from others who are already living in alignment with these values. There are many grassroots movements that are making a difference, and by supporting them, we can strengthen the collective efforts to protect the planet. Educating ourselves and others about the importance of cows, nature, and sustainability can create a ripple effect that touches many lives. It seems like the act of learning, sharing knowledge, and actively supporting these movements is pivotal. In a way, this process itself is part of the spiritual journey, understanding how interconnected we are and how every choice has ripple effects. Do you think there is a growing momentum for this kind of collective awareness, especially among the younger generation? Absolutely, there is definitely a growing shift, especially among the younger generation. They are more conscious of environmental issues, ethical consumption, and animal rights. Social media and technology have allowed them to connect globally, share ideas, and drive movements for change. What excites me is that this generation is not just concerned with their own lives, but with a larger picture of social justice, climate change, sustainability. They are looking for meaningful ways to live that aligned with their values. It's a beautiful thing to witness. Yes, the youth today are becoming increasingly aware of how their actions affect the planet, and they are not afraid to make bold choices. They are asking deeper questions, questioning systems, and looking for alternatives that honor both the earth and all living beings. In the past, spiritual practices were often seen as detached from the practical aspects of life, but now we see young people integrating both. They are combining modern technology with the ancient wisdom, and this blend has the potential to create a truly harmonious world. That's a hopeful and inspiring outlook. I think there is something deeply empowering in knowing that individuals, especially the younger generation, hold the keys to the shift. For them, the opportunity isn't just to inherit the world as it is, but to help shape it into something more sustainable, peaceful, and connected. With all that's been shared today, what final thoughts would you like to leave our audience with? My final thought would be this: start where you are with what you have and make every action count. The journey doesn't require drastic overnight changes, it begins with one small step. As you make mindful, compassionate choices, you will begin to feel a shift within yourself and in your environment. Remember that spirituality isn't a distant goal, it's a daily practice, and living in harmony with nature isn't just a lofty ideal, it's a practical and actionable reality and attainable reality. I would add that the way forward is through gratitude for the earth, the animals, and all the blessings that sustain us. When we cultivate gratitude, we naturally begin to live in harmony with nature. We start to see the interconnectedness of all things, and that awareness itself becomes the foundation for all of our actions. Live with reverence for all life, and our actions will naturally follow that intention. When we respect the sacredness of all life, especially the cow, we contribute to a world of peace, prosperity, and spiritual growth. Thank you so much for sharing such profound wisdom today. This conversation has not only highlighted the sacredness of the cow, but also the deep connection we all share with the earth and with each other. It's clear that true harmony lies in understanding that every action, no matter how small, contributes to the greater good of the world. May we all walk this path with a greater awareness and intention. Jai Gurudev, Jai Gurudev. So, this conversation has truly been an enlightening one. As we look ahead, it's clear that reconnecting with the earth and embracing the wisdom of traditions like the reverence for cows is not just a path for spiritual growth, but a way to create sustainable change in the world. What do you think is the most significant impact that this shift in consciousness can have on a global scale? The most significant impact would be the restoration of balance. We live in a world that often values convenience over sustainability, and this has led to an imbalance. By shifting our consciousness to one that recognizes the sacredness of life in all its forms, whether it's animals, plants, or the earth itself. We begin to restore that balance when more people adopt lifestyle based on compassion, sustainability, and mindfulness. We create a collective shift that can address environmental issues, poverty, and even social injustices. It's a ripple effect. The more people live with intention, the greater the potential for widespread change. We can transform the world through conscious living, one person, one community at a time. See, absolutely. This shift in consciousness can lead to a paradigm shift in how we perceive development and success. If success is only measured by material gain, we are bound to keep depleting our resources. But if success is defined by spiritual growth, environmental harmony, and social well being, we can create a world where prosperity and peace flourish together. It's about adopting a holistic approach where the health of the planet, the well being of animals, and the happiness of people are all intertwined. This shift is not just a spiritual movement but also a practical global movement toward a healthier, more compassionate way of living. I couldn't agree more. There is a growing understanding that we cannot separate spiritual growth from environmental or social action. They are deeply interconnected in a way. When we respect the earth and the life it sustains, we are honoring the very essence of spiritual practice. It's a reminder that spirituality is not only about personal development but also about our responsibility toward the world we inhabit. As more people understand this interconnectedness, what kind of legacy do you hope we leave for future generations? The legacy I hope we leave is one of profound respect and care for all living beings, including the earth itself. I envision a world where future generations grow up with an innate understanding that the earth is not just a resource to be exploited, but a sacred entity to be revered and protected. This respect for nature should be part of our educational system, our cultures, and our daily lives. I hope that when future generations look back, they will see that we didn't just consume the earth's resources but lived in harmony with them, finding ways to sustain and nurture the planet for generations to come. My hope is similar, that we leave a legacy of balance and sustainability that our children, grandchildren, and even their descendants will inherit a world where they don't have to fight for clean air, healthy food, or peace. I envision a world where, like our ancestors, we understand the intrinsic value of our life, where we continue to honor the cow and other animals not just as commodities but as sacred beings that enrich our lives. If we can instill this deep respect in the next generation, we will have succeeded in leaving behind a planet that thrives not just for us but for all life. It's beautiful to think that the world we leave behind could be one of balance, peace, and harmony. The path to that world starts with each of us making conscious choices, cultivating awareness, and embracing the sacredness in all that we do. Before we conclude, is there any final advice you would like someone who is just beginning their journey toward a more sustainable and spiritually connected life? I would say start with small, meaningful steps. Don't overwhelm yourself with the idea of changing everything overnight. Start by being present, by being mindful of your choices, whether it's the food you eat, the way you interact with others, or how you care for the environment. The most important thing is to bring awareness to everything you do. And as you begin to live with more intention, you will naturally start to make choices that align with your values. Be patient with yourself and know that the journey is about progress, not perfection. My advice would be to start by cultivating gratitude for everything you have: your food, your surroundings, your relationships. When you are grateful, you begin to see the interconnectedness of all things. From there, you will naturally begin to make choices that honor that interconnectedness. Start by learning about the earth, the animals, and how your actions affect them, and seek knowledge from ancient wisdom and modern solutions, and find a balance that works for you. But above all, live with compassion and mindfulness. When we act with love, our actions will always align with the greater good. Thank you both for so much for this enlightening conversation. It's clear that the journey toward a more sustainable, compassionate, and spiritually fulfilling life is not just about individual actions, it's about the collective shift in consciousness. By integrating wisdom from both the ancient and the modern, we can create a world where peace, prosperity, and reverence for all life are the guiding principles. May we all take these lessons to heart and contribute to a brighter and more harmonious future. Jai Gurudev, Jai Gurudev. So, what a powerful message to conclude on as we move toward this future, integrating respect for nature into our daily lives. I think it's crucial to reflect on how this shift affects not just our immediate surroundings, but also the larger world. With the urgency of global environmental issues, how can the teachings we have discussed today become more widely accessible to people from all walks of life? Yes, Jagrudev, that's an excellent question. The first step is awareness. Many people don't realize that sustainability, compassion, and spiritual growth can go hand in hand. So it's essential to make these teachings relatable and understandable, not just within spiritual communities, but for the general public. For instance, creating practical workshops or community projects where people can engage with these ideas in action, whether it's setting up small organic farms, participating in local recycling initiatives, or learning about natural farming practices can help bridge the gap. It's also about storytelling. We need to share these stories like the ones we are telling today about how simple, conscious living can change lives, both spiritually and materially. When people see the tangible benefits, they are more likely to adopt these practices in their own lives. Yeah, Jai Gurudev. So, absolutely, that's an excellent question. The first step is awareness, and the message must be accessible to everyone, not just those who are already interested in spiritual practices. We must make this wisdom practical, rooted in real world solutions that people can immediately apply. For example, connecting spirituality to everyday actions, like the practice of growing one's own food or learning how to reduce waste, can resonate deeply with people who might not have considered these actions as part of their spiritual journey. We need to create spaces where people from all backgrounds can come together, share their experiences, and learn from one another. This is how we can scale up the impact of these teachings. Making these teachings simple, engaging, and practical is key. I love that emphasis on practical application. It's often easy to think of spirituality as something distant or abstract, but when we connect it to tangible actions, it becomes something everyone can participate in. One thing that really strikes me in your stories is the role of community, whether it's through farming, the care of animals like cows, or just sharing knowledge. How can we foster a sense of community in today's world, which is often divided or disconnected? This community is at the heart of both spiritual growth and sustainable living. It's about creating a sense of shared purpose. In a world that often feels fragmented, we need to find a common ground, starting with the values that unite us. It could be as simple as gathering around to plant a tree, tend to a garden, or even organizing events that focus on learning about how to live in harmony with nature. These activities bring people together and create a space where relationships can grow. It's in these small everyday connections that real transformation happens. People need to feel like they belong to something larger than themselves, something that brings meaning and fulfillment to their lives. So the spiritual aspect comes in when we recognize that these acts of care, whether it's caring for the earth, animals, or people, are deeply sacred. Exactly, we often forget that true community isn't just about proximity or shared interests. It's about shared values. When we begin to see the sacred in others and in the natural world around us, we naturally build a more connected, compassionate community. The idea of seva or selfless service is central to this. It's in giving back, whether it's helping a neighbor, caring for an animal, or contributing to the environment, that we truly create bonds. I believe the more we encourage acts of service and foster environments where people can serve together, the stronger our communities will become. In that spirit, it's important to open to learning from all kinds of people from different backgrounds, faiths, and cultures. True community doesn't have boundaries. Now, that's a beautiful thought. Community as a space for connection and shared purpose, and I think it really ties back to the idea that we can't truly thrive alone. Our well-being is interdependent on the well-being of the environment and the people around us. On a broader scale, as we work towards a more sustainable world, how can we begin to address the systemic challenges that often hinder large-scale change? Yes, systemic challenges are indeed a significant part of the equation. One powerful way to address these challenges is through conscious consumerism. As consumers, we have the power to drive change. Every purchase we make can either contribute to the problem or be part of the solution. Supporting companies and organizations that prioritize sustainability, ethical practices, and environmental responsibility is one way to push back against systems that prioritize profit over people or the planet. But beyond that, we need to create systems of education that equip people with the knowledge they need to understand the larger forces at play, whether it's understanding the impacts of industrial agriculture, deforestation, or climate change. Awareness empowers action. And once people realize they have the power to influence systems, change can happen at a larger scale. That's where the role of spiritual and ethical teachings can play an instrumental role. When people align with a deep sense of responsibility to others and to the earth, they begin to make more informed choices. Even in the face of a system that doesn't often prioritize these values. It's about changing the narrative, showing people that sustainability isn't a trend but a necessity. In India, our ancestors lived by principles that respected the earth and all living beings. Those teachings are more relevant now than ever before, and we can adapt them to modern challenges. The more we educate both spiritually and practically, the more people will begin to challenge systems that harm our planet and shift towards systems that foster balance, sustainability, and compassion. It seems like a combination of individual action, collective responsibility, and a systemic shift in mindset is required to create the kind of change we are all hoping for. It's a tall order, but with each small step and conscious choice, we create momentum. Is there anything else you would like to add before we wrap up this enlightening conversation? Yes, I would say that the most important thing is to be patient with the process. Change doesn't happen overnight, and it may sometimes feel like we are moving slowly, but every small step adds up. As long as we remain consistent with awareness and intention in our hearts, we will see change. And remember, true change starts from within. When we change ourselves, the world around us changes. True. Two, I agree wholeheartedly. The journey toward a sustainable, spiritually connected life is not just a destination, it's a process, and we must be kind to ourselves along the way. The more we stay rooted in our values, the more we will be able to create the world we envision. Together, we can create a ripple effect of peace, harmony, and sustainability, and in doing so, honor the wisdom of our ancestors and the needs of future generations. Thank you both so much for your time, wisdom, and perspective today. The path ahead may seem daunting at times, but with guidance like this, I believe that small conscious actions can indeed lead to profound global change. Let's walk forward with mindfulness, compassion, and understanding that we are all deeply connected, Jagadev.